Login accepted.
Hey, good afternoon for all of those that are on a diet, because the rest is on a lunch. Welcome on a very quick 15-minute session about data-driven business. We will talk about few only aspects of what data-driven business is and how to prepare for this revolution that will be coming to the candidates market, job market, and the business market. I really like when you will be asking questions. That would be great. But keep in mind we have only 15 minutes. So what we will talk about today, we will talk about how to buy a car, how Netflix and Adobe was using data to be successful. We'll talk about data size that is coming to us and we can analyze. And we'll talk about skills and hunch. Okay, so let's warm up just before we'll go to next slides. How do you buy a car? And this is a question to you. What are the conditions that you use? Is it color? Is it price? Who uses price to buy a car? Okay. What price is it? Is it cheap? Is it expensive? Okay, medium range. And who else is looking for a medium range car? Okay, so what is medium range? That's the thing. That depends on your budget. That depends on the context of a question. Sorry. Some people choose cars because they need to have low expense on maintenance, on parts. But what does it mean? What does it mean, low expense? Do you want to go to the service station every year, or do you want to go to the service station every 3 years? That's not recommended, especially with an oil. Or maybe quality. What is high quality? What do you think? What is a high quality of a car? Any idea? Doesn't break down. Okay, that might be high quality. But every car breaks down from time to time. Some parts will fail after some time. So what I'm trying to get to is that whenever you are setting up some kind of a criteria for doing something, you need to understand what you want to achieve. If you want to say cheap, you need to define what cheap means. If you want to buy a small car, just imagine Shaquille O'Neal. He will say, I'm buying a small car, but for him, it's Humvee. For us, it could be Fiat Cinquecento, for example. That's a small car. So whenever you want to analyze the data to take a decision, you need to create a context and you need to define the criteria of what each word means to you. And this is about buying a car. And there are companies that are analyzing the data to take proper decisions for future and to succeed. For example, we have Netflix. Just in case, I'll be asking questions and you have answers on the screen. Why Netflix became successful? What do you think? Because they analyzed the series market and they identified what will be in the demand from the viewers. They took the House of Cards, a British series, and they redid it. And that made them successful. That was the first signal for the market that Netflix is delivering something different, something that is not usual on a cinematic market. And they were analyzing the trends amongst viewers. How they did it, it's a much complex discussion, but please step in to Dynatrace stand later. We can discuss this. What about Adobe? Adobe was a very successful company until somebody said, let's do everything in cloud. And Adobe did a good analysis. They were one of the first to deliver cloud-based licenses for their software. And because of that, their revenue grew from $5 billion to $10 billion. And they were using a lot of data to come to this decision. And right now, with the acquisition of Omniture, they are also delivering a significant revenue through design analytics, because they found out that there is a gap on the market. They were looking for the gaps in the data. So those are only examples. Now, where data-driven approach can be used. There are two areas. One is where you can improve your organization, your company, your team, by using the data you already have. And this is happening already. This is in the companies. We use the data, data used in Jira, in other systems, CRMs, etc. We analyze them and we see where we can get more customers, where we can focus on maintenance to improve performance. But there is another part of this market that is currently still a niche, and that is data-driven culture and the approach that could be sold. Do you know how many companies do you know that are selling data-driven approach to the market as a solution to your problems? Let's just try to imagine, I have a problems with maintenance, okay, in my code, in my product. Are there any companies that are coming with a proper set of data or even questions that could help you to remove the maintenance? Do you know such companies? Okay, no hands up. That's good, because there are no companies like that. You have to do it by your own. But that's the niche in the market. You can create a model on any important question on a business market, and you can sell it. And this is the element of the revolution that is coming up to us. Just imagine that in 2019 we had only 45 zettabytes of globally available data, not something that is stored internally in the companies. In 2025, it will be almost four times bigger, and we will have plenty of data to use and analyze and solve next problems. So there are a couple ways to be a part of this revolution. From the skill set perspective, technical skill set perspective, it is good to understand what data extraction means. That means you have access to all of the sources in your company and outside. You are able to transform and standardize the data. Because if you want to do the analysis, you never use the whole set of data. You use the data from the context of a problem you want to solve. You need to do some basic math. That's kind of crucial. And you need to be an expert in the data that you are analyzing. So if you will get data from Jira and you don't know what it means, you will never get the proper answer from it. So you need to be an expert in the domain where you are analyzing the data. Statistics, pretty basic stuff that is required, and data science. But there is also another part of data analysis and data-driven business, how to be a part of this revolution, is that you need to be able to visualize the data. That's very important, because if you have a set of data in front of you and you cannot sell it, you cannot visualize it, it will never solve a problem because the stakeholders will never understand what is the solution. You need to be able to clean the data from the unnecessary parts that are only blurring the final result. MATLAB, R, Python, SQL Server, those are the technical skills that you need. But there is another part that I would like to show you on this next slide that is pretty intense. So, to be a good data analyst, you need to be very skilled in critical thinking. And critical thinking is not hating, it's not being critical about everything and saying this is bad. It's about getting rid of emotions while analyzing the data. Whenever you specify a problem, you need to be sure that you are specifying a problem that is common for everyone, not only for you. And it's not underlaid with some emotions like I fear of something or I love something. Critical thinking removes this layer, but it's important, and I will tell you on one slide after. Why is it important? Active listening. Why active listening is important? What do you think? Any idea? Why active listening would be important in data-driven business and data analysis? Okay, no idea, so I will tell you. In order to analyze the data and get the data to solve the problem, you need to understand what is the problem. And you can listen to a customer to find out what is his problem, or you can translate it into something you think is a problem. And the results will be different. So if you are an active listener, you are able to split my understanding versus the problem. So you need to be an active listener. You cannot be only a technical guy that is skilled in SQL or Python or whatever that would be. You need to be with the problem. Another element is building relations. Why is that? Why building relations is important in data analysis? Any idea? To understand different perception of a problem. Because if one person will describe a problem, doesn't mean it's the problem. You need to see it from different perspectives. Like, for example, are we paying enough in the market? Or are our prices for the software are okay or too high or too low? You need to compare them with other companies. You need to compare them against the needs and the needs of the customers that will buy it. So if you will build the relationship, you are able to answer those questions so that the result at the end of the analysis will be much more precise. And the last very, very crucial element is how to communicate the data. Even if you will analyze the whole set, you will deliver the result, the stakeholders may not understand what is the result. So you need to be a very skilled communicator if you want to be in the data-driven business revolution that is coming to us. Okay, I mentioned about critical thinking. Critical thinking is not about emotions yet, and I got this question several times during this kind of a session. So, is it doable by machines? So, should that be automated and no person should be involved? No, that's not the case, because the machine today is not able to have a hunch. I have a hunch that House of Cards will be a solution to our problems or to our growth. I have a hunch that we should be cloud-based licensing company rather than normal licensing. I have a hunch that our maintenance will grow, and machine is not able to do it. So emotions and hunch is very important. But hunch is important only while defining the problem, identifying the problem. But if you want to measure the problem to solve it, there are no emotions. You have to agree with whatever the data will show you. Because sometimes we look at the data and we tend to over-design it to show it's green. From this perspective, it's green. But in reality, it's red. It's bad. So, in summary, if you want to be in this data-driven model, data-driven business, there are a lot of technical skills you need to gain, but also you need to skill up in communication, visualizing the data, building relations, and creating a business. I lost the word. Sorry. A business. Context. Sorry. Business context for every problem you want to solve before you are reaching out to the great data source. If you would have any questions about this topic, because it's only 15-minute session during the lunch, which is understandable. We don't want to disrupt you. Please reach out to me on a Dynatrace stand. We are on the first floor. I'm happy to deep dive with you. Thank you very much.